Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV. Not just another channel. I'm excited. I'm still in the mood of Youth Day celebrations. As you may be aware, yesterday, the 12th of March 2020, was Youth Day, and we celebrated under the theme channelizing youth power for national development, which is going to also be our theme also for today. So the phone lines will be open shortly and you will be able to get in touch with us. This year's Youth Day was celebrated under the new normal, in that if you are like me and grew up in the 90s, in Lusaka or wherever it is that you grew up from, I remember back in primary school where we were told to march every 12th of March. I remember being so excited because that was the time where you had to have your shoes polished, you had to have your white stockings up to here, up to your knees, and and we marched, and it was so exciting to be able to see the president. Then I remember the first time that I actually marched along, what road is that? I think where there's the Freedom Statue, Independence, is it Independence Road? Yeah, I should think so. Having to march there and, just salute at the president. I remember then it was the late President Levi Mwanawasa, and I was so excited. And every year it was the same tradition. And kindly share with us some of your memories also in regards to traditions that you had to celebrate Youth Day. But before we go further into the show, which I can assure you is fun-packed, is educative, it's all that you can think of. So please sit back, relax, as we get right into the morning boost to get your muscles active, to get you shaking, your heart pumping, and get healthy. So join us with the morning boost.
Good morning, welcome. I started with a warm-up before I stepped in here, and let's do it now. 5 minutes workout. Make sure that your partner joins in, your children that comes in, and let's do something today now. So this is what we're gonna do today. We're gonna start with the hands now. Shoulder press, let's go. I'm gonna do 40, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many? 30. 1, 2, 3, go. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. Great workout. I'm already feeling this. So let's go. I'm dealing with the hands. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, next 10, I'm gonna bring the hands to the front now. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so we've done 60 for the hands. Let's go now. Remember last time I was here, we were running, we were jumping. So today we're gonna do it differently now. Here we go. There you go. Stay at that. Just stretch your legs. Good for you in the morning. Let's go. Stretch. There you go. There you go. Let's go. Let's go. Stay at it. Keep doing it. You feel like your legs are becoming heavy? It's part of the workout. Let's go. Awesome stuff. You're doing well. Keep pushing. Don't lean on anything unless you can't really stand the intensity of the workout. Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. All right. Awesome stuff. Okay, I'm going to give you something now. Remember, you need to do this every morning before you leave. Okay. Basic push-ups. That's what you're going to do now. Lock your legs, kneel down, and come down here. Let's go. 1. 10. Let's go. 20. I'm gonna give you a 5-second break, but it's within my time. Take a break. You can do 5 minutes, seconds. You can do 10. So 20 more. We do 40. Let's go, Team Camnet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 10. Then you take your 10-second break, but I'm not gonna take that long break. Okay, last 10. Then I've given you 40 push-ups. Anybody can do this, you kneel. Let's go, last 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Great stuff. All right. Thank you so much. And that's it for today. I'm going to see you again next time at the same time. Make sure that you do this every morning before you go for your duties. Thank you. I sign out. Machisa Isaac is my name.
You're still watching the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. Initially, I had forgotten to introduce myself. So for some of you who are watching me here for the very first times, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. And like I mentioned earlier, we have a fun-packed program that is entertaining, that is educative, and also at the same time informative. Well, in the studio, I am not alone. I have the chairperson from the Integrated Community Anti-Litter Initiative, that is no other than Mr. Pascal Chikumbi, who will be one of our guests for today, and we will be talking about a lot of things. Good morning.
Good morning, Liseli. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's a cool morning today.
Yes, it is a cool morning.
Thank you for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Well, even before we got on camera, one of the things that we were talking about was the fact that to get right into it, we haven't recorded any cases of cholera.
It's an amazing, Liseli, and well, this is something worth applauding the authority, of course, through the Ministry of Health, that the period of 2018-2019, when we had an outbreak of cholera, I think you saw the number of cases that we, that were reported, and just some interventions that government put through, of course, through relevant authorities such as the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Local Government, and other players who came on board to ensure that the issue of cholera should be treated as a thing of the past. Yes, we haven't recorded any cholera case, but where waste managing is concerned, I think we're still not doing very well. And it's a matter of concern that should be treated, failure to which other challenges where public health is concerned will arise. And of course, the deity, which is not just in Lusaka, but any other areas, it's something that is giving a very back picture, to visitors. And I would like today maybe to center more on Lusaka, of course, being the capital city and one of the city which is having a lot of challenges with managing waste and littering and all those waste which is not appropriately being disposed of in a manner that should be befitting for a city such as Lusaka.
Is it that we don't have enough waste companies to help manage this crisis? I call it a crisis because it leaves very little to be desired when you walk, especially in the CBD of Lusaka, in Chachacha Road, Freedom Way, and going beyond. It's a disaster.
It is a disaster, and it's unfortunate that despite the government, of course through means of local government, launching these Keep Zambia Clean, Green and Healthy, the people of Zambia, the citizens of this country, especially the residents of Lusaka, and like I said, I want to talk about Lusaka because it's an area of interest to us as an organization.
Yes.
Yes, you could be right that we do not have a lot of waste management. But also the local authority, Lusaka City Council, have also been constrained, with the resources. And we may put the blame, like others have been doing, to put the blame on Lusaka City Council. But I think the onus is on the people of Zambia, the residents of Lusaka, who have also not done very well. So despite the government coming up with all the avenues to ensure that we keep our areas clean, green and healthy, the people have not moved with the with the aspirations of the government, the aspiration of local government. And I'm sure you are aware that many of the times that Dr. Charles Banda has been putting emphasis on the importance of keeping markets clean, the environment clean. So you can see that we've had a lot of political will, but it is us, the Zambians, who have failed actually to adjust, to change our mindset. That's where the problem is. And as it is, you are right, yes, you go Freedom, Chachacha, and let's just say within the CBD, there is too much garbage which has been piling up. So there have been major factors that have actually contributed to that. Yes, you are aware that the streets are now, or they've been opened almost a year now and some months. And according to what we were told by Minister of Local Government, Dr. Charles Banda, was that the street vendors who were put there were just put there temporary. After the markets, of course, they will be relocated. But that should not be the case. Zambians should change their mindset to a positive way of managing waste than littering. And it is not just the CBD. You go through, we've been doing some random checks within the city, and it's a sad story that you find heaps of garbage everywhere where you go, and that's not a good picture for a city such as Lusaka.
I know you mentioned one of the things that caught my attention was the fact that you attributed one of the reasons why we are facing this as a country, this crisis, to mindset change. Because where is this coming from? Because our culture does not align with dirtiness. So where is this coming from, really?
When you look at other cities, Kitwe, Ndola, Livingstone, and other municipalities which are quite big, some of the districts, is that there's been so much urbanization. People have been migrating, coming into Lusaka. They want to go to Ndola. They want to go to anywhere where there's commercial activities. So when you look at Lusaka, I think 20, 30 years ago, Lusaka was not as populated as it is. Now we are 2 million plus within Lusaka. And then there are also unplanned settlement that have actually sprung up. When we will say 60% of the settlement, they are unplanned. Yes. So these are areas where even the council and other authorities would find it very difficult to go into there and then to start, charging people, because there are areas where even a service vehicle to go and pick up the waste cannot do that.
That's true.
So as the local authority, this is why they pushed in. I mean, they are to engage the community-based enterprises to actually try and see how they can collect garbage from the domestic garbage which has been generated from household, of course. But the culture really that has come into us, it is something that as an organization, this is not the first time, neither is it going to be the second time or the third time, is because, I mean, as an organization, this is why we've been pushing. In 2018-2019 period, when we ran around with the government to ensure that we cleaned the city, we did all that we could, you saw how people changed. And everyone now were very particular, like you were eating a gum, and even a small piece of paper like this, you know, chalk time, and then when you scratch, you're done. They could not throw it. They would rather keep it in the pocket or in the handbag. And when, you know, when they are off the soldiers, then, you know, somebody will find the bin to go and throw there. So sometimes the thinking capacity of a human being change according to the environment. And I've seen most of the Zambians who have traveled and out of the country, that once you go into a country or an area where they don't condone, you know, littering, they'll be so particular to say, no, here I can't do this. Even here in Lusaka, I've seen others coming from peri-urban areas, like coming into town, and then they go to a mall, especially to malls. You go to a mall, and then you see how clean it is. Yes. You can't change. Now, can you imagine from home? You cannot go and litter in the mall, and you'll be like, where's the mall? Where's the bin? Where's the bin? Yeah. So, and then the moment you just step out from a mall, and then again you shift, you reverse. You want to do things anyhow. That's not the case. So, as an organization, we've always been of the idea that probably what we went through in 2018-2019, when the president used his powers to, you know, to release, sorry to use this term, to allow the men and women in uniform to come and help clean the city. And it was not just Lusaka, I think you noticed. It was throughout the country. Yes. Lusaka, for the very first time, started sparkling because of, you know, what the men and women in uniform did. They did a very good job. So if people don't want to change on their own, probably we can try the other way, because the laws of this country under 100 of Chapter 281 and many other statutory instruments within the Local Government Act, it clearly stipulates on how one is supposed to dispose of waste, or what it talks about littering and the consequences. There are a lot of penalties that are there where if you act in a way where you'll be held responsible, then they will charge you. So people don't want to follow that way. I think probably the best way is to use force to ensure that we keep the country clean, green, and healthy.
So it's not that people don't know what is right.
They really know.
We are aware.
Too much
what to do, when to do it, and where not to do it. But it's an issue of just being relaxed.
Oh yes, oh yes. Like, and also one thing that we've noticed is that I think some of them are so, for lack of a better term, are so ignorant on how they can manage waste. Because what people of Zambia, the citizens, know is that the cleaning of even the surrounding and the market is the responsibility of the local authority, of the municipalities, the civic leaders. And that's what we know. And we've got a very wrong notion to say, no, I can't. Even when you, as a community, you know that this is actually posing danger to public health. We need to clean this nonsense. We still look at it, and we expect the local authority themselves, Lusaka City Council, Ndora City Council, Lokitwe, to come and clean even where we are trading, which is not supposed to be the case. I have traveled, and we've seen, even within Africa, we've seen just how citizens of any country have come up to, first of all, follow the laws which have been put in place. And then they have also held that cleanliness their personal responsibility. Yes. And it's the only way that we can supplement to the government's effort. As long as we do not change our mindset as the people of Zambia, it will be very difficult for this country to attain what the leaders have been aspiring for. It will be almost impossible for us to have a very clean city like we expect it to be.
In winding up, as you are aware, yesterday was Youth Day. How can the youth be full participants in the issues to do with waste management, littering, and a whole lot more?
I want to tell you something, that waste is waste when you haven't put value to it. There are countries who are surviving, really surviving on recycling. And we know that we're going through a lot of challenges where waste management is concerned. And of course, we can see heaps and heaps of garbage, which as the youth should have taken advantage. I know now that everyone is singing about the cooperative. Can you imagine if we love to come up with cooperatives in each and every compound, specifically to manage waste and recycle it? All these youths who have been going around and wandering about, doing illicit stuff, I think they will be able to contribute to the keeping of the environment clean, and not just that, even for their own sustenance.
Yeah.
Even for their own sustenance. So I would like to urge to youth not to just wait for the white-collar job. The issue of waste recycling must be considered for the youths, so that at least they'll have something to do and for their sustenance.
Mr. Chikumbi, thank you so much for making time.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you so much.
And I will definitely quote you on our news tonight, where you said that one of the sustainable means of getting people to comply with waste management or waste disposal is force.
Yeah, for now, yes. For now, we need that. For now, that's the only way. Sorry.
It's okay. Please go ahead.
I know that at home there are times where a kid throws stuff, like you women are very particular when they sweep the sitting room is sparkling, and then you see somebody dropping. How do you feel?
No.
Yeah, you try to caution, then tomorrow he or she repeats.
You whip.
You whip.
Yes.
I think that's the direction that as an organization we would like, so that it's the only way that we can bring sanity.
Thank you so much once again.
It's been a pleasure.
You're still watching the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. We get into a video clip where we have different opinions, different aspects of how the youth in the country of Zambia celebrated Youth Day.
Hi guys, my name is Apiri Taunga, and I would like to wish everyone on this special day a happy Youth Day. My short advice would be: celebrate this day wisely, be responsible, be the youths that you ought to be, and make a change in our Zambian nation. Thank you.
You are born for greatness. Return to the Maker who has the final destination about your life. Thank you. Remember, in this Youth Day, take up the stand and say, I'll make a difference for my generation.
Youth Day. So for padi matretera mwe bantu akwarisa bakapepefe bwino abantu bonse bakatandalefe bwino. Happy Youth Day.
Nifuna kamba pali wanzanga ma youth, nifuna wapasa changes akuti day ya youth noti wakankale nakaja ka habit kakumwa mopitirira malire koma nifuna tika celebrate bwino pamozi naye ine pano. Mponso sitifunika kangana na wantu wakulu monga makadazi awa koma nifuna tikankale bwino tikashite celebrate kamba kakuti ni celebrate yase o mayuthi ono muzambi.
I would like to wish you a happy Youth Day. Don't be like me guys, I don't celebrate Youth Day anyhow, but I celebrate with purpose. So whenever you're celebrating Youth Day, just remember you need to have a purpose in mind. What is it that you're celebrating your Youth Day? Don't just follow the crowds, go into clubs or whatever it is, but celebrate with purpose. Make change in your society.
The advice to the youth here on Friday is to take care of themselves and not to be used by politicians. The best way is just to take care of their families and themselves, not to drink, It's better to sit at home, not just to play around with beers, driving when you drink. It's not good.
Vambiri vamene tifunika kuganiza as the youth because you are the future of tomorrow. Pamene wali pasogolera watu walipo lero, mairo ndisiri vamene tizankarapo. But ngati lero tapanga bad name nanga mairo batizaka wafuna abantu batu then teze kuwaendera naija kuti nisokole wanachamba. So please stay away from drugs, stay away from tuchiwerewere. I mean kusamvera nkhani yabasikana tindingare bantu sober minded tendo lotipa uyithi watu tishitevintu vokonkoroka. Zikomo tikaonane futi chakachibwera pa Youth Day. Bye bye.
And remember guys, don't forget to mask up, wash your hands and social distance.
The phone lines are finally open, and the number that you are getting us on for your contributions is 0968675273. And you can also drop your comments on the Camnet TV Zambia Facebook page. Just search for Camnet TV and you will be able to get in touch with us. You can leave your comments there, and we are actually streaming live both on the Facebook page and also on YouTube. Like I mentioned, we are still in the mood of Youth Day, which we celebrated yesterday, the 12th of March 2020, and the theme being channelizing youth, a power for national building. And to help us dissect and analyze and really get into what this theme means is our guest Lazarus Simukoko, Mr. Lazarus Simukoko, a youth activist who will be joining us via Zoom as he helps us dissect this topic of discussion. Mr. Lazarus Simukoko, good morning.
Good morning, Madam Lisedi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, and you?
You are pretty low, Mr. Director upstairs. Maybe we can just increase the volume a little bit up a notch so that we will be able to hear our guest. Please say something. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I can hear you, but I'm not too sure that our viewers are able to hear. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, even better. You are now extra loud, but that's fine. So joining us via Zoom is Mr. Lazarus Simukoko, a youth activist right here in Zambia, to help us discuss yesterday's Youth Day celebrations and moving forward what we can do amongst other things. So first and foremost, Mr. Simukoko, who is a youth?
I can't get clearly on the...
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I am now.
Okay, great. Well, I was asking to say, who is a youth in your words?
Well, it depends with the probably the context at it. According to that we are living in, a youth somebody who is between 15 to 5. The two inclusive. Simply means when it's supposed to be 15 up to 35 years old, and the youth itself.
Okay, so what you're saying, you're breaking, so I'll be paraphrasing what you're saying so that our viewers are able to hear. So what you're saying, that a youth is a person described under the Constitution as a person who is aged between 15 and 35 years old. What are some of the challenges that youths in the country are currently facing?
Well, there are a lot of challenges which youths are facing currently, ranging from unemployment, apart from what we have in a country. When you look how things are in this, the people who are the youth currently, they are not as expected. As such, many of them have not accessed jobs. If you look, we go in the streets, what you are only going to be finding there, the youth who are using drugs, and the youth who are alcohol. As a country, we need to work very a bit, because when you enter the lifespan of that youth who is there, there is no any other person who is going to stand up in future. And that is why at this moving currently, you are going to have that youth who is living there. Tomorrow is supposed to be a leader. Tomorrow is giving the national GDP of this country. When you look at the national GDP currently, at $20 billion, Congo itself is that $40 billion. It is using more goods than it cannot be so, minus us looking at the industries themselves. So we need to embark on production. The moment we start producing our own goods, today as we are speaking, Madam Liseli, the clothes we are putting on, they are coming from South Africa. The clothes I'm putting on, they are coming from countries like Congo. It's the same Congo which is supplying us. Apart from that, allow me to mention also that according to the survey of 2018, it is clear that only 2.9 Zambians are working. Then where are we going to as a nation? Currently, when you look at that, only 3.2 million that are involved in agriculture. Yet America, it's only 6.3 million who are involved in agriculture. America produces more goods in agriculture than Zambia. There is a problem. We have not taken time to Egypt will start improving the lives of these farmers, improving the lives of these people in this country. This issue of unemployment can be solved. It's better that we come up with industries all up the country. The second should have the moment we move away and start the country, other goods, anything from goods, and be able to produce mango juice, mango wine. The moment you do so, you are going to of manpower, and the people are going to be providing that manpower are themselves.
Great. If you were not able to hear him clearly due to the bad network, what he's simply trying to say is that, because I had asked him to say what are some of the challenges that the youths are facing currently in the country, and he has highlighted a number of issues. One of the issues that he has highlighted is the high levels of unemployment and the need for industries to be open in the country so as to ensure that youths in the country have access to employment rather, which has been and is a crisis currently in the country. Mr. Simukoko, are you still with us and able to hear me?
Yes, I am getting you loud and clear.
Yes. So as I had attributed, you mentioned issues to do with unemployment and the fact that we need more industries in the country, and the fact that we have many unemployed youths who are engaging in illicit activities so as robbing us off of the very much needed manpower in the country. I'm sure you are aware as a youth activist that there have been some empowerment schemes that have been going on and taking place throughout the country, where we have seen government giving huge sums of money to different people, especially in the arts sector. How do you think these empowerment schemes are sustainable? Do you think these empowerment schemes are sustainable?
Well, allow me to mention that those empowerments are not sustainable at all. When you are looking at empowerment, let us look at money. We need to look at these things, which is for aim. You need to look at mentorship first. Again, you move now to money, and then when you look at mentorship itself, meaning you need to teach that youth how to about mentorship itself. Mentor that person towards that. And then what does that person get? What to give that person money? The moment that person market, the market itself we are talking about now. Currently, or eventually involving him in this market, but selling and buying these goods. What trying to say at the moment, what I'm trying to say, you cannot be able to money to somebody. Money is in the mind. The youth currently don't have any money. That all these things are favorable. How can they be? It's by making sure that that youth is given that for the artist. All they have there is for them. Because that money which has been given to those artists, it that's simple. That's not even in our constituency. That is trying to make a name. That person is not going to have access to that money. But what the government is supposed to do at the moment is by making sure that they subsidize the production cost of these studios. And that is what the government of Nigeria did. And that is why they have that Nollywood. That Nollywood, when you look at it, that is why we've got a artists there, making a name. Why we dominating only to the movie industry, and all these sectors. What at current, the government is not supposed to young people. The government is supposed to make sure that they embark on improving the lives of those people. How do they improve it? It was in Singapore where they don't have all the resources that we have, and it's improving the lives of the people who are in that area. The moment that is what we are seeing. Making they are making their own vehicle, they are their own phone, making all comes to technology. Singapore is leading, and that this realize that they needed so that you can be advantage and appreciate that you are going to be facing. By then, the people at that moment we are dealing with mentorship, meaning changing our apart from that also it is the same gap which made sure that centers, and that is why we are seeing in the vision somebody which was asking at the moment when what empowerment is not giving empowerment and making sure that fundamental factors are. And from there, those young people can be able to see what then thereafter.
Okay, Mr. Semukoko, thank you so much. But before we let you go, how do you as a youth interpret this year's theme of Youth Day?
Well, allow me to mention to you, Madam, they said it was celebrated yesterday. What's itself? There is partnership, and when you look at partnership itself, those people who are involved in business, that is what we call a partnership. It's a document, it's the behavior of the people who are in that partnership. Now, what kind of an assurance are we having that young people are going to come? What we have that young people are going to be provided with employment. What assurance are we being given? Young people themselves are going to be given their necessity for the things that they require. Because at the moment as we are speaking, young people are subjected to the lives that they are not supposed to. What we want to do as a nation at the moment, by realizing what kind of policies are we supposed to put in place. And that policy can only be by making sure that Zambia is industrialized. That simply means there is a sufficiency of employment at the moment. At the moment that means they can only describe a youth as a person who is. If that person is having work or jobs are very available. But at the moment speaking, the Republic of Zambia saying the people of Zambia shouldn't be able to expect more money in their pocket when they are not working hard. But when we see as all these things are, there is no way somebody can be able to work hard, yet that person doesn't have
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Simukoko. That's a youth activist, for joining us on the Rise and Thrive breakfast show. Unfortunately, we had a technical challenge that has to do with network, and we had to let go of him there. He mentioned quite a number of cardinal points, and one of the things that I must highlight was he talked about the need for assurance in terms of the challenges that the youths are facing currently in the country, assurances to do with employment, which is a crisis currently, because we have seen a number of youths who are unemployed. Just this week alone, we saw a number of protests, and one of the protests that include doctors who protested right outside the Ministry of Health, and 2 doctors walked all the way to State House and decided to have their protest there. So we see a number of even professionals. So now, if unemployment is there at professional level to do with doctors, we see a number of teachers who are unemployed. There's actually an association of an association called Teachers Association of Unemployed Teachers Association. So that is a crisis that we are facing as a country, and one of the issues that the youth activists highlighted was the fact that there is need for assurance coming from government to ensure that policies are put in place in order for the youth to be employed. And also he highlighted the fact that these empowerment schemes of giving money are not sustainable. Maybe, Mr. Director, you can assist me with going into a clip coming from Guest Nyirenda as he talked about the same.
They are dishing out monies today. Would you call that empowerment? I mean, people must really think twice. The PF and what they are doing in terms of dishing out. You can't have a minister, the whole minister. Minister is the executive, okay? Executive arm of government. The whole minister carries cash money and says, where is the issue of money laundering there? How does one carry that money? For what? What do you want to show? That monies cannot be distributed like that. Monies cannot be handled like that. It's unacceptable. And because we have accepted this wrong way of doing things, this is why this country will continue to lag behind. This is why this country will not move forward, because people are playing, and you are playing on other people's minds by saying, okay, if they see cash, then we will move them. If they see cash, their heartbeats will be for us, and they will like us. I don't think that is the way things should be done. Yes, people need cash. People need empowerment. But the way empowerment is being done, I don't think there would be accountability in the way monies are handled by whoever accesses that money. We must have a program. It must just conform to the financial regulations that Zambia has. I don't think the Bank of Zambia or the governor or whichever person in the financial sector would appreciate what is happening in terms of the way monies are distributed.
Issues to do with youth empowerment, as we are still in the mood of celebrating Youth Day, which was commemorated yesterday, the 12th of March 2020. Well, the phone lines are open. We can have your contribution on the number 0968 675 Please feel free to call in and let's have your contribution towards the theme of Youth Day, which was commemorated yesterday, which is channelizing youth power for national building. We get right into some of the activities that took place, and one of the things that have gotten people talking is the fracas that took place yesterday on the Copper Belt, that is in Kitwe, where we saw people, that is UPND cadres, fighting running battles with the police.
It was this procession by UPND cadres in Kitwe on the Copper Belt which the Zambia Police Service were against. The UPND cadres had gathered at Kitwe's Imposamavu Square en route to the party secretariat in Nkana West when a horde of police officers arrived to stop the procession on account that in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, no party should hold any sort of processions. The police then instituted random arrests of UPND cadres, but some of the cadres who managed to escape returned to rescue their colleagues who were being arrested. As the confrontation heightened, one police officer was seen picking a stone in readiness to charge, but this was the beginning of the worst scenes as police and the cadres engaged in a full physical fight. The driver of the police van then decided to speed off to save his own life, leaving behind his fellow officers to fight for theirs. The officers, especially women, were seen fleeing the scene for their own safety as tear gas canisters could be heard being fired. Some cadres were not so lucky as they walked home with blooded faces. By broadcast time, 37 UPND cadres had been arrested and detained by police on the Copper Belt. But police spokesperson Esther Mwatakatongo in an interview explains that the cadres were being blocked from proceeding to where the laying of wreaths was taking place. She has also confirmed that a number of police officers have been injured in the process.
That group charged towards police officers, and in the process, one of our officers fell. And also the same people, the same mob, began throwing stones at police officers. So we have some of our police officers who have been injured. Then reinforcement was sent, and we have managed to apprehend about 25 people. And from the 25, or maybe I should just say that screening is underway so that we find out who was involved and who was not involved.
Kalan Muchima reporting for Camnet News.
You're watching the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. You just watched a clip coming all the way from Kitwe, the Copper Belt, where we saw UPND cadres fighting running battles with police. That story is a developing story, and we should be getting more information as the police unveils the information. So the phone lines are open, and the number that you are getting us on is 0968675273. Again, 0968675273. Please feel free to get in touch with us, and let's have your contributions. We are still in the youth mood as we celebrated Youth Day yesterday. So if you're a youth between the age of 15 and 35, this show is meant for you. And also, whatever age range that you are in, as this show is meant to entertain, inform, and also educate. Well, I'm not alone in the studio. Again, I am joined by two individuals who are coming from color culture, and these are Joseph Sangasanga and Kasungo Mantenga, all the way from color culture. I am intrigued. I'm interested. Who, ladies first?
I think so.
Or you jump on board whichever way. Anyway, first things first, welcome to the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show.
Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure. What is, or who is, color culture?
Okay, so Color Culture is basically a creative arts company that aims at telling African stories through poetry, visual arts, fiction, and they're aimed at educating, impacting, and entertaining as well.
Yeah, so like she put it, it's basically a creative platform. So we use art to tell different stories, to tell stories of our culture. So be it music, be it poetry, be it visual art, as long as it's art, we use that form to tell, our own stories.
Do you have an age range as to who can be a part and parcel of color culture?
Actually, no. It's really anyone who...
It's wide.
Yes, yes.
How long has it been running?
Well, Color Culture began on the 22nd of June, 2019.
And what are some of the activities that you have engaged in that you can say, okay, fine, we had this activity at such a certain time, we pulled this many crowds and whatnot?
Well, the first activity that we actually had at Color Culture was was actually more like a story trying to tell of different, cultures that we have here. So we had a show that was hosted by our very own founder, Mr. Katongo, and we actually told stories of brave women who just, stood out for our culture. And we also had the Afronaut, which talked about, Zambia going to space. That was like an amazing set that we had. So after that, we've had different shows. We actually had the Three Queens, and that was actually last year. That was the first Three Queens that we had. And this year we had the other Three Queens. So basically, Three Queens was, empowering women. So telling stories of women who have, made history here in Zambia, and we don't know about them. So we actually took advantage of that, and we had different, ladies come through, women come through, and get to share the stories. Actually, Kasongo was one of them performing.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really amazing to speak on women who, personally, I had never heard of before. It really gave me the opportunity to learn about women who've done really amazing things in our country, and we haven't really learned about them in school. So it was nice to read their stories and create pieces and poems and art from that.
What do you do in the team, in the group? Are you a poet, a dancer? Because I know you've mentioned that it's wide, different arts, poetry, music, dance, graphics, or whatever. So what do you do?
Okay, so I am personally a spoken word poet.
Okay.
And as for me, I'm also a spoken word poet and also a graphic designer.
Well, we're going to have some poetry. I hope you're ready.
Definitely.
Are you doing something in collaboration? Because I actually used to do spoken word poetry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So it would be nice to hear a couple of poems from you, especially that we have a number of youths that are watching.
Most definitely.
Please, the platform is yours.
Okay.
Okay.
Whichever way.
All right. Okay, so I'll be reading my piece.
No problem.
And it's entitled Art.
Okay.
I speak with my heart and I write with my soul. When I put that pen to paper, I give it my all. When I'm on stage, I speak like I was gonna die today. Write and fight for my life. Heck, life's too short to let this talent waste away. I believe to share art is to be art, like to give light is to be light. I am a creative art form. I utter words that first breathe life from the depths of my soul. I'm just trying to be vulnerable because I know that if I'm not being authentic as I write, then my speech will all be just a false prophecy. See, God ain't create me to be a fake version of a child of God, so I speak truth when I write. For that is what I am called to do. I mean, I got a gift, so I use it. Ain't got no time or reason to misuse it. Intrinsically artistic with my instincts, expressing myself. As the painter paints their thoughts and ideas on the canvas, I, a poet, artistically cultivate my ideas and thoughts for the construction of a new way of thinking in the minds of others, a new way of creating, a new way of being. I hate to see God's masterpiece go to waste, so I eat, sleep, and breathe to be the art.
Wow. Wow. Quite interesting. Please go ahead.
Okay, I think I will also be reading my piece.
Mhm.
This is actually a piece that I will be performing at the Color Culture Show, which is on the 20th.
20th. I'm sure people have gotten you where?
Yeah, it's actually in Kablonga, near Pamushi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please feel free.
All right, let me just do this. Okay, so the title of this piece is actually Relationships, and here we go. Hello, I am your chef for today, ready to serve you a dish of every shape related to this generation. This is Relationships 101. JB, speak. In the beginning, God created man. Out of him he fabricated the bone of his bones and the flesh of his flesh called woman, and the journey of relationships began. With me are 5 different dishes, each with a unique taste. First and foremost, we got the silent dish, a dish prepared by 2 elderly chefs from different clans. Dictatorship is the recipe of this meal, with Mr. and Mrs. Smith being unable to demur to this arrangement. Next is the baby bomber dish, a dish similar to the silent dish with slightly a touch of demur, but not as much. The Gen X dish has a different flavor. It is made up of a mixture of free will and non-free will. For this dish only, the female chef elders get to add the spice to this dish. Love at first sight is the sweet course of this dish. Up next is the millennial dish. This is a dish of love and affection, from signals like throwing stones on the roof to meet for a romantic moment, but with a free will recipe and some long courtship spices added to it for a more strong and everlasting taste. Last but not least is the sensual dish. This is a dish prepared differently from any other dish, with the secret of love as a recipe, a stronger demure sauce added to it, and some dating spices and courtship spices as the final touch. Each dish is prepared well, with a good taste, very exquisite, but if we do not prepare it properly, every dish has its own side effects. A silent and baby bomber dish has a long-lasting taste which is maintained with an aftertaste of love and traditional rules, but no detachments. It's still death do us part. Some side effects can be polygamy, early marriages, and gender-based violence. As for a Gen X dish, well, detachments are considered, but not as much. Lust is mistaken for love at first sight, hence high levels of gender-based violence, polygamy, causing emotional abuse as well. The female factor has less impact on the male. The millennial dish is kind of similar, only that love at first sight is rare, a factor of an everlasting taste, but courtship is the aroma of this meal with some romance added to it. Ghosting is an effect which develops into a heartbreak, and drinking the unauthorized soap before being granted access is like a normal thing, increasing the rate of unwanted pregnancies. A fungus of an ex-obsessed lover is developed in this dish. As for the sensual dish, this dish is a hybrid of all the dishes. A little flavor of the millennial dish added to it, but any slight mistake in the preparation creates side effects such as cohabiting, premarital sex, ghosting, divorce, pre-cheating, post-cheating, gender-based violence, murder, suicide, emotional, sexual, and mental abuse, only to mention a few. This is still my favorite dish though.
Its side effects are caused by other chefs that are like plankton. Teach the next generation chefs to prepare a flawless dish, and all they could come up with was a charmless charm bucket. This is a dish prepared with love from the start, and if we can only add the silent baby boomers, Gen X and millennial recipe to this dish, and commitment is the key. This dish has its flaws, but a little twist to it can bring out a happily ever after perfection de l'amour. Which one was your favorite? Let me know, and I will serve it. Preach.
Wow. Quite interesting and super. I wish I could remember, because it's been such a long time since I wrote, but I used to write a lot in high school.
Oh.
But I don't think I can remember. Maybe I should try a few lines.
You should.
No, let's not get into that. Next time, I'll challenge my co-host next week, Saturday. And I think I'll be able to recite a few poems. You're watching the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. In the studios, we had two youths from Color Culture who are still with me, and we will be closing at this point. I know you celebrated Youth Day yesterday.
Yeah. Yes.
Are you aware of the theme? Probably not. I can see from your facial expressions that you are not aware.
No.
Yeah. Lastly, how has being a part of Color Culture impacted you personally? Because I know there are a number of youths out there who have nothing to do. They're looking for jobs, but the jobs are not there. And you know, they find themselves engaging in so many other bad activities. And I know Color Culture gets a lot of your time, so you don't have time to indulge yourselves in these bad activities. So personally, from 2019, when Color Culture was formed, how have you been impacted?
Oh, okay. For me, when it was formed and I attended the first show, I just remember having this feeling of, I want to be a part of something like that. You know, it really inspired me to really share my art, because, you know, I saw poets and I'm like, hey, I write poetry sometimes, I should join, I'd love to join. So when I did join, I found this community of fellow creatives. It was like a family, people who are at different levels in their creative journey. So I was able to learn from people, network with people who I looked up to. I'm still able to do that today. Yeah, we basically share work with each other, give each other constructive criticism, and yeah, we're just there for each other, and we appreciate the arts together. So it really impacted me, helped me gain confidence to share my art.
If people want to get in touch with you, how can they be a part of Color Culture?
Okay, so basically, if you want to get in touch with us, you can just follow our Facebook page, that is Color Culture. So it's Color Culture, like COLOUR. So Color Culture, and you can actually also, you know, contact us also on our Instagram at Color Culture as well. Then we'll get back to you from there.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is all we had for you today on the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV. This is where we say our goodbyes. Remember, we are still in the youth celebration mode, and if you are youth out there, please, whatever you do, white-collar jobs are not always the answer. As you may be aware, unemployment still remains quite high in this country. Find something to do. Get equipped with an art. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. Don't engage yourself in bad vices, because at the end of the day, you are answerable to God, and you are also answerable to your family. Your parents didn't give birth to you just to become something else. So they also want to see something good at the end of the day become of you. I have been your host, Liseli Kanyanga Muvanga. God bless.